This is the story of how I finally got a promotion. The day I quit, it started out like it does for most people. I think I was just following the advice. Everyone says happiness is a choice, that it's something you do. So, I did. I filled up journals with things I was thankful for. But the pen scratching on the paper felt more like a homework assignment than any kind of release. I'd stand in front of the mirror and say, "You are worthy. You are joyful." But the words just felt hollow, like they were bouncing off the glass and coming back to a total stranger. My life pretty much became a performance of happiness. On the outside, I was ticking all the boxes. Meditating, check. Exercising, check. Clean eating, mindfulness, all of it. On paper, I looked like I had it all together. But inside, I felt like a complete fraud. And worse, every time a bad emotion showed up, a little flicker of envy, a wave of sadness, a pang of anxiety, I treated it like a personal failure. I'd just shove it down, slap on a smile, and double down on my happiness routine. It was absolutely exhausting. It turns out, there's a reason for this. The more intensely you chase happiness as a goal, the less likely you are to actually feel it. Putting all that pressure on yourself just makes you obsess over every negative feeling, which only leads to more stress. I was living proof. The constant chase was just running me into the ground, leaving me with no energy and making me do the exact things that made me unhappy in the first place. My hunt for joy had become the main source of my misery. The moment it all fell apart wasn't some big, dramatic explosion. It was quiet. It was a Tuesday. I'd woken up early to meditate, but my mind was just a racetrack for anxious thoughts. I tried to open my gratitude journal, but all I could feel was this deep, numb void. I looked at my to-do list for the day, and right there, between laundry and buy groceries, I had actually written, "Feel joyful." I just stared at it, at the complete absurdity of trying to schedule an emotion, and something inside me just snapped. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stopped. I pushed the journal away. I got off the meditation cushion. I walked to the window and just watched the world go by. I wasn't trying to find the beauty in it. I wasn't trying to feel grateful for it. I was just watching. And for the first time in years, I gave myself permission to just be miserable. I let all of it, the anxiety, the sadness, the emptiness, wash over me without putting up a fight. I surrendered. I quit my second job. And in that moment, I wasn't happy. But for the first time in a very, very long time, I felt a tiny flicker of something else. Relief? The next few days were weird. Without the constant pressure to manufacture joy, there was this empty space. But then, slowly, something else started to fill it. By letting go of the fight, I had actually made room for something new. By accepting that I was unhappy, I was letting the emotion run its natural course, which, it turns out, is often surprisingly short. I started to realize that real contentment isn't about getting rid of all the bad feelings. It's about changing your relationship with them. It's about learning to coexist with your own thoughts and feelings without letting them run the show, and instead focusing on what actually matters to you. By not forcing myself to be happy, I started noticing these small, genuine moments of peace that were there all along. A warm cup of coffee, the sound of rain on the window, a good conversation with a friend. These things hadn't changed, but my ability to actually feel them had. They weren't just items on a happiness checklist anymore. They were just life, happening. And that brings me to a question for you. Have you ever felt trapped in the chase for happiness? Like you're doing all the right things, but feeling all wrong? I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. I read every single one, and I think we can all get something out of having a more honest conversation about this. And if any of this felt true to you, maybe subscribe for more videos about finding contentment in all the unexpected places. Quitting my chase for happiness wasn't me giving up. It was me, finally letting life in. It was admitting that a full, meaningful life means feeling the entire spectrum of emotions, not just the good ones. And the funniest part is, when you stop demanding that you be happy all the time, you create the perfect space for it to show up on its own terms. Quietly, gently, and without any effort at all. It finds you not when you're hunting for it, but when you're simply living.